Hi there, welcome to this video. So I'm going to be reading you a quote today from The Power of Full Engagement, and it's about stress addiction. I think this is a really interesting concept. So first I'm just going to read it to you before we talk about it a little bit. So working at a feverish pace without breaks may actually be addictive. Stress hormones such as adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol fuel arousal and create a seductive rush, the so-called adrenaline high. When we operate at a high enough intensity for long enough, we progressively lose the capacity to shift to any other gear. Our natural inclination is to push harder when demand increases. Over time, we resist what would make us more effective, taking breaks and seeking restoration. In effect, we get stuck in overdrive, unable to turn off the engine. Now, I think this is really interesting because I hear from a lot of women, and I've experienced this often in my own life as well, this idea that there isn't enough time to do the things that we want to do, and that we get stressed out and feeling like we just don't, we're just drained and overwhelmed and what's the other word that women typically use? Drained, overwhelmed, and uninspired, just because of the feeling of having so many things going and on our plate and feeling that there's nothing that we can do to change that. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do to deal with that. Obviously, it's, you know, really getting control of your mind and how you look at everything in your life. But the other aspect of it is that we wire ourselves to be a certain way. And there are these chemical hormones that curse through our body that make us feel a certain way, and they can become addictive. And also we create pathways in our brain to just keep doing the same things over and over again. And then that stimulates those chemicals, right? So a great example of this would be to go look at this show. I'm not sure where you can find it. It's probably on YouTube. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? And then there's a scene in it of like all these people and their patterns that they carry around in life. And then they have all these little cartoons going on in the background showing the patterns getting triggered while they're at a party, and each person has their own different pattern, and just like shows you the wiring. Like once you are addicted to stress, you actually seek it out unconsciously and create it, and you observe it, and that's what all you see is stress, because that's what you're wired yourself to see. And it can be really difficult, obviously, to get out of that pattern without focused, concerted effort on our own part to get control of our mind and our behavior. So basically the action of this is to look at, like, the next time you feel compelled to take the action of pushing in your life and taking action that's not from inspiration, to just stop completely and say no to allowing yourself to go down that pattern. And instead, by just continually taking a different action, wiring yourself to, when you feel not inspired or you feel like you've hit a wall, to not try to push through it the way you may have in the past, but to actually just stop completely, give yourself permission to do nothing until you actually have the inspiration arise within you to take some sort of action. And that is basically the restoration, right? Like, you can go do something that makes you feel good instead. So when you come back to what you have to accomplish, you're no longer in that mindset, and all those belief systems aren't coming up about being tired and overwhelmed and not supported, and like that there's no end in sight, and, you know, all the stuff that we experience as women, typical in our culture, because there's so much that women are responsible for, being mothers and, you know, having jobs and businesses and, you know, all the things that are on your plate. But at the end of the day, it's not really what's happening. It's how you experience what's happening. So my way of dealing with this is to have, like, that decision of, like, okay, I have to go get back into a place of inspiration to act on what I want to accomplish, so that I'm doing it from the right place, right? And that impacts the results that you get, right? Because anything you do from a pushing place is going to not have the best result. It's going to be infused with that energy and of pushing, and it's a low vibrational state, right? So you're not going to get the outcome you want if you push. So instead, going and doing something that restores you, and so wiring yourself to do that instead. And one of the things that I have found really helpful is, if I don't really know what to do with myself in that moment, is I just go sit on a chair and tell myself I don't have to get up until I actually feel some sort of like something inside of me that tells me to get up. And it's amazing. Like when you tell yourself you don't have to do anything, I almost guarantee you within 3 minutes of you just sitting in the chair, literally closing your eyes and waiting and not forcing yourself to move on with what you have to accomplish, you will actually get the urge to do something. And like that little 3 minutes will actually build some energy, and you'll be inspired to do something. It may not be, to finish the work you started, but it'll be something that you actually feel compelled to do. And then you have the energy of feeling behind what you want to do, rather than feeling like you're resisting and pushing forward. And then you restore your energy, and then whatever you do go and do, you can do from a higher vibe. So I think this is, a big, important, conversations to just look at the fact that, when we might just be addicted to the stressful thoughts we have. It might be just that we've wired ourselves that way, and it's going to take some mental strength and deciding to do something different to change it. And once you do that over and over again, then you actually do create a new pathway in your brain, and then it becomes automatic and habit. So, they say it takes 21 days to forge a habit. So maybe it'll take 21 times that you hit a wall and feel like you're about to start pushing. And then you decide to take a different action and do that then it becomes natural for you to know actually how to handle the things that are in front of you that are, that you're feeling like not inspired to do, and immediately go get into inspiration, right? Because you know what happens when you are in resistance. You can actually end up doing nothing. And you might look really busy. That's what a workaholic does, essentially, right? A workaholic looks really, really busy, is always doing something, never is getting anything accomplished. And that is massively draining and not great for the spirit, right? Because essentially we want to feel like we're progressing forward in life. So this is my challenge to you. The next time you feel like uninspired, but you have to get something done and you're wanting to push yourself, just completely stop, go sit in the chair and do not move until you feel what I'm saying, that something will rise in you and you will actually feel like doing something instead of being so overwhelmed that you don't feel like doing anything. All right? Bye for now.